Hi everyone, my name is Ali Raza and today we will discuss about some basics of C#.NET programming language part number 1. Let's get it started. C#, usually pronounced or spoken as C# or C#. It is an evolution of C and C++ programming languages founded by Anders Hejelsberg under Microsoft. It is far more object-oriented, component-oriented, block-based, structured, and scalable programming language than its predecessor languages like C and C++. It is widely used in the development of desktop applications, mobile applications, web applications, game development, enterprise applications, and the list goes on. Now let's move on to its amazing features where we will dissect this language further and get to know more about it. Let's discuss some of the main and important features of C# programming language. The main and foremost important feature is the simplicity, where we develop C# applications in a much simpler block-based and structure, breaking the code at different points or intervals. The syntax is much simpler than that of C++, as you don't have to define and code every pointer or click now. Let's move on to the next feature, which is the meets the modern technologies and modern demands. C# fulfills the modern demands of the modern era. It can build more scalable, powerful, and secure applications and also provides enterprise solutions for the companies too. The next feature is OOP-based. C# is more object-oriented programming-based language, which makes it easier to use and much more simple to understand and develop applications. Even there are some Java developers that I know are switching towards this modern language to increase their productivity and provide more scalable options to their clients and users. The fourth one is the use of .NET libraries. Yes, you are getting it right. C# is one of the programming languages designed to work with Microsoft .NET platform. This platform is enriched with tons of libraries that you will see, which we will be using in our later tutorials in the future. Almost all the desktop and some web and mobile applications are developed using the .NET framework and .NET libraries with the help of C# as a programming language. Furthermore, about .NET will be discussed in the .NET framework section below. Let's talk about its speed. Applications developed in C# takes less time in the app compilation and execution of the software. Thanks to the compilers used in .NET, reducing the time for debugging the software and helping to load it faster on the desktop. But for the features, let's end it here. Let's talk about the applications that are developed in C#. First is the desktop applications. The development of the desktop applications, we will be using Windows Presentation Foundation, also known as the WPF. It is one of the modules of the .NET framework. Its libraries include buttons, toolbars, text boxes, and so on, which could be used to build a Windows user interface or UI. As you can see in the image, it is the WPF view, where this is the solution explorer window, where different solutions, .NET files, solution files, and all the other DLL assembly language files are shown here. And this is the properties window, where different buttons, text boxes, and label properties are shown here in order to change their text or their size or their context or furthermore. This is the preview window in which we add different buttons and text and labels, etc. This is the XAML code editor window, in which we increase the size of the button or increase the size of the window or the application that we are building. Furthermore, this is the compiler log, in which the log states all the activities that are performed on that particular software or on that particular application. Like I'm building an application, then I will be clicking on this button, so it will start compiling, and the log will start showing what is happening here, in which seconds it will be compiled, and what libraries are being fetched from which part of the memory. So let's jump into the Windows Store applications. This module is mainly used to develop the applications for the touch devices with a minimum or not at all clutter and keeping the simplicity. WPF is also used to some extent, but mostly WCF is used for more scalable apps. Let's go for the web applications. For the web application development, we use ASP.NET Active Server Page.NET system. It provides more dynamic, personalized security to the web application. For this one, we will use Model View Controller MVC, another module of the .NET. As you can see, how we can create the MVC.NET application by going to the home page of the Visual Studio IDE, which will be told further to you in the later tutorials. Let's talk about the Wcf service. These services are used to create versatile distributed applications. It's an abbreviation of Windows Communication Foundation Service, mostly used for the exchange of the data virtually over the internet or the local internet. We will use it in our advanced part of the tutorials. Some of these types also need some database access. For that purpose, we will use the ADO.NET Active Directory Objects or Link Language Integrated Query, and also one of the capabilities of the CSharp. Let's talk about the .NET framework. .NET is the abbreviation of Network Enabled Technology. It was a platform developed by the Microsoft for developing different desktop applications or different mobile or any applications that can run on the desktop or the mobile. An application using .NET framework means writing code using a .NET core library. So it consists of a gigantic set of libraries, codes used by the client language such as CSharp using OOP techniques. It is further categorized into different modules which we discuss in the CSharp section later. There are some compilers too used by the .NET framework to help in the compilation and execution of the software. Let's discuss about some compilers that are used in the .NET framework. When you compile your code using the .NET Framework library, you don't create an operating system specific native code. Instead, your code is compiled into the Common Intermediate Language, which is also known as CIL compiler or CIL code, which is easier for the operating system to read the code and perform further operations on it. It is neither specific to an operating system nor the C# itself. After that comes the execution part, for which just-in-time JIT compiler. It compiles the CIL code to its native code that is specific to the target operating system. Gosh, that was too much of the compilers. Let's move to the next step and discuss some features of .NET. .NET Framework offers a wide variety of features for its users and developers. Let's shed some light on all of them one by one. Let's talk about the assemblies first. When compiling an application, the CIL code is stored in an assembly. Assemblies include both executable code, which are .exe file extension, application files, and libraries, which are .dll file extension for being used by other applications. Containing the CIL, assemblies also include the meta information, which is the information about the assemblies. This meta information enables assemblies to be fully self-descriptive. There is also another useful feature known as Global Assembly Caching, which is also known as GAC in the .NET framework. In this one, all the reusable code is placed inside a place where it could be accessible to all other applications throughout the module. More managed code. Code written in C# using the .NET framework is managed when it is executed, a stage usually referred to as a runtime. So here the CLR, Common Language Runtime, looks after the applications, managing the memory, handling the security, allowing cross-language debugging using Xamarin Platform or the other, and so on. In short, applications that do not run under the control of CLR are said to be unmanaged, such as C++, which access low-level functions of the operating system. However, C# only runs in managed environment. Let's talk about the garbage collection. An important feature of the .NET framework in managed code is garbage collection. .NET garbage collection works by periodically inspecting the memory of the computer and removing anything from it that is no longer needed. It is not set or fixed time for this purpose. It might happen thousands of times per second, once every few seconds, or whenever, but be assured that will happen. This is the whole diagram of Visual C# C#, where the C# source files will go to the compiler. Resources and references will also pass through the compiler, and the manage assembly will pass those files to metadata. And after that, .NET Framework will use both the CIL and GIT compilers and class libraries, and then convert that code into the native code for the better understanding for the machine code. Let's talk about some integrated development environment. For C#.NET, we will be using Visual Studio Community 2019 version. This is the best IDE developed by Microsoft for various kinds of single-level or cross-platform applications. Why we use the 2019 version rather than some old 2015 or 2017 version? Because the 2019 version has more optimization of source codes and files, much more software development features, making it available for different kinds of developers, and also introduce various cross-platform integration of different applications. Let's talk about some of its features. Some of the features of Visual Studio are shortlisted below. Let's read it out. The first one, which is it automates the steps required to compile source code, but at the same time gives complete control over any option one wants. Another one is the text editor is tailored for the languages that VS supports, including C#. In this way, it can intelligently detect errors and suggest code wherever appropriate as one is typing. This feature is also called IntelliSense. C# projects often start with boilerplate code already in place. So instead of starting from scratch, various code files are started, reducing the amount of time spent starting the project. It can also add appropriate code to existing files without having you worried about correct syntax. Visual Studio also includes various powerful tools for visualizing and navigating through the elements of the project, whether they are bitmap images or sound files. You can also create deployment projects, making it easy for supplying the code to clients and for them to install it without any or much trouble. Visual Studio also enables advanced debugging techniques when developing the projects, such as stepping through the code one step at a time, while keeping an eye on the state of the application. Believe me guys, there is much more than this to discuss, but you get the idea right now, right? Yes, I'm right. Okay, I hope you have enjoyed learning some new stuff today. Stay tuned as there are further more to come. Allah Hafiz.